Okay, so I recently watched Possession. It's a movie from 1981, directed by some Polish guy, Zulowski. It's a weird name. Anytime you've got names with like five consonants in a row, like Z R J K W, like next to each other, it's probably Polish. That's what I find. This movie's a weird, messed up movie. It's probably one of the strangest, like, layers of weirdness. Like, there were parts where, I was like, what is going on? And then even on top of that, I'd be like, okay, fine, I accept this bit. And then there'd be another little thing. I'd be like, what? There were so many parts. And I was kind of joking to myself as I watched it, like, oh, mom, I need my mommy or something. Like, it makes you think, like, oh, my God, I'm not ready for this. What, what is this? That kind of reaction. I actually enjoyed it overall. I think because it is kind of surreal and I don't think it's really a horror movie, but if you see it as a horror movie, it's just this is a movie to put on and just scare people and just because it's messed up and weird. And it works as a horror movie. It's like, what is going on? But also parts interested me and kind of gained my interest. I was like, what? So just to give some idea, that I think it's really hilarious. I looked up after I'd watched it, like, I always try to look up trivia. Apparently the director was going through a divorce when he wrote it. And I was like, not surprised at all. I was like, I knew that was the case. I was like, something's going on in this guy's life to make a movie like this. And that fits it perfectly. It does seem to have a little bit of similarity with Eraserhead, the David Lynch movie. I really enjoyed Eraserhead as well. Just because it's kind of surreal, it's got its weird, unique imagery and what it seems to be kind of implying. And in this movie as well, there seems to be kind of symbolism of, what do you kind of like, this will sound stupid, like physical manifestations of like inner thoughts and feelings. Yeah, to give the basic plot, there's like a couple, Sam Neill and what's it, Adjani, or Isabel Adjani, or Adjani. I don't know how to say her name. I think she's French. I think Sam Neill was born in New Zealand, maybe, but he seems to be treated basically as Australian. I don't know if he spent much time in Australia. What's the difference? Australia, New Zealand. Who cares? So yeah, they're a couple. Most movies I think have too much exposition. It's just boring. It's just blah 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 explaining the plot. It's like, we get it. Get on with the story. This movie doesn't have enough exposition. I was like, what's going on? I don't understand what Sam Neill's job is. In a way, maybe it's not relevant, but at the start of the movie, he seems to come back and it's like, so he went on some business trip. I swear there's a scene where he's sitting and there's like four people at like a little table and there's kind of a big room and the camera kind of pans around for a long time. And I don't understand what they're talking about. Something to do with his job. Near the end, I think one of them asks him about, does the subject still have pink socks? Something like that. And I'm like, what? And near the end of the movie, there's someone with pink socks, and I swear that's a reference, but I'm like, I still don't understand. I don't understand what it's about. This is the main issue I was sort of have with the movie. Is it doesn't have a relatively normal sort of surrounding, and then one weird, crazy thing thrown into the mix. A little bit, Alien's probably not the best example, but at least in that case you've got a spaceship and you've got something's going on, like there's a sort of a monster, okay? But it's kind of like if you said with Alien when you were directing it, like, okay, but let's make it this person has schizophrenia, and let's make it that this person's in a wheelchair, and let's make it this person speaks backwards all the time, and let's make it this person only speaks Russian, and let's make it this person's blind and deaf. And it's like, well, why would you complicate it? Then it's like, what is your movie even about? I feel like a lot of horror movies do this. They'll have like a monster, and then there's like also all these other weird things going on there. What does that have to do with it? In this case, it's like it seems like mainly the woman's a little bit crazy. Like it sounds like she's been seeing someone else, and so is Sam Neill. Neither of them were really faithful. But anyway, they're back. She seems kind of crazy, but Sam Neill's also nuts. Like, and then there's some other guy, and he's also nuts. And there's like all of them are crazy. There's no sane character. There's a little boy. He's probably the only one. I just thought there were so many parts where I thought neither of you are anywhere near, a suitable parent for this child. Something needs to happen. This is messed up. So yeah, if I did a little summary for people that want to see if they want to see it or not, it's a very weird movie. It's a movie that to me didn't make complete sense. But if you were writing some essay about, then you might be able to try to like get out of a lot of, because there's a lot of in sort of domestic arguments and violence, but it does, in a weird way, it feels logical. Individual scenes, kind of the motivations make sense. Even if you accept the people are crazy, I think everyone can relate to some of that kind of thing of like arguing and just feeling nuts. And like, I think she got Isabelle Adjani got an award for the Cannes Film Festival for like Best Actress or something, and it's like I can sort of understand her if her performance is pretty intense, but also she's nice. She looks sort of she has like a sad. I'm so inept at this sort of thing, but she has like a sad, innocent kind of look to her, but also what am I trying to say? Like pretty but sad, soft kind of features. I don't know how to describe that kind of thing. But this the thing. She doesn't play one role. She plays a role, and then there's also a school teacher played by her as well, who looks, it's a doppelganger, except she has like blonde or light hair and green eyes. And it's like, as a viewer, you're like, what does that mean? Is this going to be explained? Is this just a separate character who happens to look similar? Is it going to be revealed? Are they twins later on, or sisters? Is there some other force going on? Is someone imagining stuff in their mind? Is it the same person and she's just messing around with Sam Neill and wearing contact lenses and a wig? I don't know. It's like, why have so many layers of confusion? There's one scene where Sam Neill needs to leave, I guess, and this other lady has arrived, and he says, "Can you look after the kid?" And he's like, "Okay, because I gotta go." And then he sort of leaves, and she like faints, and I was like, "Why did she faint? Is she just?" That was like, what? Everything else like sort of like okay, and then she just sort of falls out. I'm like, what is going? Is she just reacting? Is she just like, oh, why is he leave? Oh, I was looking forward to talking to him, and oh, he's, I don't know, but why did she literally seem to fall? And I was like, did she faint? Is that important, or is that it just cuts to the next scene? And you're like, what is going on? So yeah, I don't know. If this sounds appealing, then go for it. It's weird. There'll be parts where you're like, there's parts that are kind of like, yeah. And parts that are like, and parts are like, what is that? Parts are like, kind of, like you can kind of relate. It seems tragic and, it's an interesting movie. I want to start spoiling it, so that's why I'm okay. So, I still actually kind of liked it for like a artsy fartsy messed up weird kind of journey. I kind of like it, but just like, why not make it make sense? Why not? Would that be so hard? So yeah, I'm gonna spoil it a bit. There's one part where they have they have like, they're sort of arguing, and then I think she slaps him, Sam Neill, and I guess she was sort of crossing the line. Like, it felt, I could sort of understand. I don't like either. Like, both of them are kind of insane and kind of cross the line and not really very nice in a way. Like, but I could still sort of understand, like, they feel. I don't know. It's actually really well acted. I think a lot of it. But anyway, she slaps him, and then you can see this sort of anger in him, and like, I think, oh boy, where's this going? And then nothing happens at first. I forget. I don't know. He's like, he shouldn't have done that. And then anyway, she eventually makes a run for the door, and he sort of blocks it, and he hits her a few times, and it's like, it's not surprising that it went that way, and I sort of feel like he shouldn't do that, but also she's really, really pushed him to that limit, and you can tell he's kind of has a lot of emotion, and it's that's the thing. If you're in a situation with heightened emotions and you're near someone who's bigger than you or stronger than you, don't push into the limit if you can't get out of there, because you're going to get really hurt. So she gets hit a bit, and then she's got blood. I think maybe the first time he slaps her, she kind of gives a bit of a weird smile, like, and I was like, that creeped me out. I was like, what is going on? She likes that, or is this? I don't know what's going on. And then they leave the apartment. He keeps sort of yelling at her, and then it's like she deliberately chooses to stand in front of a truck, which then has to veer, and a couple of cars. It's like one of the trucks that carries lots of cars on the back, and a couple of them get knocked over, and then that's just like the end of the scene, and you're like, what does that symbolize? Oh, it's so messed up. There's also some hints of possible pedophilia or something within Sam Neill. I think with his character, I mean, not the actor. I don't want it. Not anyway. Yeah, just well, I don't know if I'm reading too much into it, but the way there's one part he takes his son's shirt off because I think he's got some mess. I guess it's food. I don't know what's going on. This again, layers of confusion. Like even that would be like, what is that food or is that what's going on? Anyway, he takes it off, and then he just sort of looks at his son's chest a bit and sort of holds him, and it just seemed a little weird to me. And then later, his wife is sort of takes her top off, and he's sort of similar thing, looks at her chest and sort of holds it. It seems kind of like blank, not interested, and kind of looks away and just. And there was a very clear parallel. I'm not imagining that. And it seems to be saying it's like he seems to have a bit of a fascination for a little boy's chest, but not interested in an adult woman's chest. And that seems to be part of the issue with their marriage, that they're not, she's not sexually pleased by him, it seems. He doesn't, I don't know if he's sexually interested in her. So I don't know if I'm reading too much into it. There's another little part where he sort of plays soccer briefly with some kids. And it seems just a little weird, like he seems to interact more with kids. There's a couple of parts where he's upset and he's like in bed, like rolling around and like just acting like kind of like an infant, like a child throwing a tantrum. It's weird. And this is again where if Sam Neill was a sort of more of a solid, nice character and his wife was starting to go crazy, then I could understand it a bit more, and maybe some arguments could develop. Like if she's wants a divorce and accusing him of things and saying, I'm going to take the baby, then the child, then you could see even a relatively stable grown-up man might start to get angry and be like, how can you do this? And no, don't. And you might try to stop them from doing what they're doing and say, look at me, you can't do this. But instead they're both crazy. So it's just kind of, and there's parts where she like cuts her neck and it's just out of nowhere. But this is the thing. People do some of these things. It's not that rare. And I think people get really angry at each other. And there's parts where, yeah, she sort of says, excuse me, and can you move, please? And he's in the way. And it's the scene in the subway where she's by herself. That is insane. That's like an experience, like a roller coaster. Like you could just watch that clip to be like, just watch this. Just she's just, the amount of energy, like tribal, weird sort of whatever's going on. And then she seems to, there's like some liquid. It's like she's giving birth to some monster. I don't know if that's what officially happens in that part. I don't know if that was a flashback or something. And then that weird creature that you could barely see what's there, and there's one part where it looks up and has these weird tiny little eyes on the side like an alien, but then it also seems to develop and have tentacles, and then it's making love to her, and then I guess it becomes a copy of Sam Neill near the end. I'm spoiling it. I told you I was spoiling it. Don't get upset. I guess there's a lot of symbolism there. When like a marriage falls apart, it just feels awful. It's like just all those negative emotions and hate mixed with love, because this is someone that you loved or you thought you loved. So now you've just got hate and just because that's the thing. I think you feel more intense hatred to someone that you used to love, or that you felt you had that chance of love with them, and they're now throwing it away, and you're just like, how could you do this? No, you're just a this and that, and you know, and you just like that. It becomes this monster with all these tentacles, and also the idea of getting replaced. It reminds me of like Toy Story. It was on TV just then, with Woody's getting worried about Buzz Lightyear replacing him. In this case, it's you're getting replaced by another man who's now with your wife, or vice versa. You're a woman, you're worried about another woman's going to be with your husband, or whatever. That's the other thing. There's this weird German, I think he's German, this other guy. It's like, it's so weird. There's parts that are like homoerotic, the way he talks to Sam Neill. He seems to almost kiss him or go up close to him, and he sort of acts almost a bit drunk or effeminate. There's a scene where he's just moving around and walking away and just kind of like... and there's a scene where they end up fighting, and he kind of does like a... You know, it's like he's been trained in karate or something. Like I said, layers upon layers of like craziness. Like the rest of the movie could be completely normal, just sort of a drama about a divorce. And then you had that one German character. I would be talking about it like, what was with that guy? He was so weird and crazy. But on top of that, you have like a creature that's like some weird thing with tentacles. On top of that, you've got, you know, the lady is just insane, like making weird noises and like screaming. Some of that's understandable, but some of it goes way beyond. And Sam Neill having like weird, childish sort of emotions and reactions to things, and just not seeming to have anything else going for him. Yeah, not able to cope with things as an adult. And then there's even some other lady who's like got a broken leg. It's just weird to see her sort of dressed up, almost a bit like a hooker or something, but she's got a cast on her leg. It's a weird kind of image to see. It's just why is that what the movie needs at that point? I don't get it. So yeah, I have mixed feelings. It's not really a great movie to me, but it was interesting. It's a weird, as far as psychological weird, even sort of horror, and kind of exploring divorce and those kinds of intense emotions in domestic arguments and stuff. Those scenes I actually thought were kind of well done, when they're yelling at each other and it doesn't make sense, and you just, yeah, and the way he cuts himself as well, like I don't know why he did that, but then I guess there doesn't need to be a lot of logic. When people are in those emotional states, they just do weird things. They want attention, and they want to, it's like a competition. I'm the one, I'm hurt, I'm the victim, I'm hurt more than you are. You don't understand. So, yeah, plus at the end, the guy with the pink socks, like, what? What? So, yeah, I'd say there's at least 5 or 6 layers of straight up WTF, kind of like, don't know what's going on. Anyway, I'll leave it there. Let me know. If you watch it and you understand it, maybe you can tell me what's going on, because, yeah. Anyway, thanks for watching. Bye.